Hey, what is up mortals, it is Robo Celestial here, and before we get into today's video, I would like to remind you all that this is a new channel. Please like, comment and subscribe to get this channel going. Part 10 of What If Deku Had Boosted Gear from DxD. If you haven't watched the previous parts of this what if, please do. Links in the description below. Last episode Class 1 is a task to fight the teachers in a 2-on-1. Everyone does their matches with some teams being successful while others aren't. Deku and Bakugo are paired up for the final match against All Might. Deku tried to plan and with Bakugo, but Bakugo does not oblige. They head out to fight when Bakugo charges in by himself, getting knocked out easily by All Might's power even when suppressed. It's now up to Deku to completely this monstrous challenge. He suckers punch All Might and grabbing Bakugo, running to the gate when All Might gets up and easily catch up to him. All Might punch him, sending him all the way where he started into a building. Lucky Bakugo is unharmed. Deku then realizes he can't run and he has to fight and figured out a way to capture him. Deku decides to charge at him head on. All Might do the same with their clash, destroying buildings and shaking the ground around them. Deku lands a good punch, but then All Might delivers a harder one, badly damaging his armor and lowering his stamina, affected his armor repair. He then tries to shoot a dragon shot at the ground, making a big dust cloud to try to sneak up on All Might, but All Might easily spotted and hammers him with a punch of attacks. All Might land another huge blow, sending Deku into a van. Luckily Deku put all his power into defense, saving him from defeat, but at the cost of losing his scale mail. He then starts doubting himself. He can't win without his suit, but with the help from Drag and his classmates, he can overcome this barrier. He then releases all his power stored in his sacred gear, then rushing at All Might. The clash between the two wake up Bakugo, and then he realizes the exams are still going on. He heads towards the loud noises from Deku and All Might. Deku is losing and blocks All Might punch, pinning him against a building. Deku is unable to move or do anything until Bakugo comes from behind, surprising All Might, hitting him with a huge blast point blank. They both use this chance to quickly run away, and they both make it out because All Might time limit is up and stamina is gone from the big blast he took. They pass, and when they enter to meet the other students, Choco gives him a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Class 1 plan a trip to the mall to shop for stuff for training camp, which goes smoothly this time because Tamura doesn't go there. Deku also goes with Choco because Choco wanted him to go with her. Deku doesn't reject, as in the anime, and everything happens as the same. Deku is at home and his mom said that the school will be closed for a month because for a break, but they also said to not slack off because you have a training camp soon. The League of Villains get this news and then plan their same attack for the next upcoming weeks. Tamura says to everyone the Red Dragon Emperor will be there. I want him for myself, no one harms him. Twice says, why boss, if he just a threat we should finish him off. Tamura says, I want him for myself, that's final. While this time Tamura does some heavy mental and physical training to gain control over his special technique. Meanwhile back at Deku's house, Drag says to him, Deku, you need to put your mind into the scared gear again. They have something they want you to do, it will help you. Deku then enters himself into his boosted gear. He appears in a white endless plane. Deku looks around to see anyone, but he doesn't. Deku then tells Drag, are you sure they are here? He then hears something coming from behind and quickly transforms into his balance breaker, Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker. He turns around, blocking a punch. The person jumps back and says, well done, perfectly. Deku says, oh, it's you, Elsha, what's up? Well, we decided the training they are giving you at UA isn't good enough for you, so we'll train you ourselves. You will be training with the strongest Red Dragon male emperor in history. A tall dude with a white beard, bloodshot red eyes, and a red robe appears behind her. Alicia says, this is Blizzard, he will be training you for the next month. Blizzard says, I heard a lot about you, but now it's time to train. First off, you will have to survive the flames from the ultimate class Devil Dragon Lord named Omavros Dracos. Next, you will be lifting metals from our world that weighs 500 pounds each. Finally, your last challenge to see if your training paid off is to try to take this key away from me. We will be doing this 6 hours a day, 2 hours of surviving the dragon, 2 hours of lifting, 3 hours of rest, and 2 hours of me. Deku says, wait, 9 hours, this is too much and too hard. Do I even got anything if I do it? How will this affect me if my mind is the only thing in here? Belzerf says, this is the training necessary if you want to beat the White Dragon Emperors. I have a vision that you'll soon face him. Too hard, you got it easy. I had to survive against a legendary Devil King Dragon called Vritra. He could wipe out worlds if he wanted. You'll also be getting 2 special items once you're able to take the key away from me. Secondly, it will give you great powers and more control over your powers. It will affect you physically and mentally, because your body does get affected by this since it's kinda in here too. This will happen at 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday, not Saturday because we have lives too. Not either Sunday because we have to deal with the God of the Bible or the guy who made scared gears. Alicia says cheer up, you still have 16 hours to yourself anyways. Belzer said we'll start now and summons Mavros Draco's a big dynamics which he starts to attack Deku. Deku sees this and goes into his boosted gear barely dodging attacks of Vritra's flame. Mavros Dracos says you better keep running or I'll toast you. Deku somehow manages to live Vritra's flame, but then Belzard says you'll have to deal with 3x that fire rate every day. Next up is the lifting which Deku has to lift 100,000 pounds. Deku tries to lift it, but he can't. Drag says you fool, just boost a ton, so you're able to lift it. Belzard says correct drag, but when you lift that 1,000 pounds it will double and keep on doubling until you can hold it anymore. This will push your boosting and physical strength overall to a new height. Deku goes into his balance breaker, starts boosted, and after 4 boosts he can lift it. Then it starts becoming heavier, so he has to boost more to keep it up. He reaches his limit of 50,000 pounds when boosted. After the 3-hour break, he goes back and Belzard meet him and says now for your final task, if you can get this key from my hand you'll pass your training. You can come at me anyway, and you have 2 hours to do so. We'll be doing this at the end of the training session. Deku says that should be easy and charges in for the key straight away, but Belzard easily dodges swiftly it and then taps Deku on the neck with one finger sending him into the ground. Blizzard says is that all you got, you'll never become whatever that number 1 hero is or defeat the white dragon like that. Deku gets up ready for round 2 and Blizzard says looks like you're ready this time, now come at me. Meanwhile, throughout the weeks of training Deku is doing, Tamura has been fighting the 7th legendary dragon king called Layton for his training. With the help of the 3rd strongest white dragon female called Rakana helping him throughout his training. Tamura struggles to defeat it even with it his decay work and balance breaker. He has been fighting this legendary dragon for weeks on end. While fighting Layton he gains a sacred power which lets him overcoming the dragon, giving him his respect. Side note must read: Tamura did not defeat Layton, he only made Layton realize he is ready. Deku overcomes all his challenges. His once had trouble with knowing this will help him become the number 1 hero and he'll get a reward for it too. His only struggle is getting the key from Blizzard which he failed to get so far. Days on days of failing, Deku starts to know how he moves and counterattacks. Belzard, although being powerful, he does tend to get cocky. The final day comes and he stands off against Blizzard one last time for the key. Tries after tries, Deku fails to grab the key and this makes Blizzard start getting cocky knowing that he won't get it. Deku only has 5 minutes left on the clock before it's over. Deku rushes towards using a dragon shot to distract him, then come from behind to grab it, but Blizzard blocks it. Deku then uses a 2nd dragon shot point blank to cause a big screen. He knows if he goes for spots where he doesn't expect it, he will attack knowing from all his attempts. He then realizes, what if I attack him for the most obvious spot, he won't think I'll go. He goes right in front of Blizzard for the key, but Blizzard notices it and tries to get away, but can't. Deku then boosts himself forward very fast and steals the key with 1 hour and 59 minutes on the spot. Blizzard says well done, you have passed the training. Normally the people I faced would take way less time than you did. Looks like my cockiness even from all my years of battles still gets to me, good job. Blizzard then calls Elsha to reward him for his training. A sword comes from the above shining with a bright white light. Alicia says now take this legendary sword that was called Drachmoxazor of Heroibus, also you could call it Heroibus, wielded by the great Cadmus. This sword could defeat many draconic creatures. This sword is still very fatal against humans, but not as much to draconic-like creatures. Deku asked this is a bit extra, and where did you even get this? Blizzard says this sword has been passed down ever since the first Dragon Emperor. Not all can wield it, only the strongest red dragon emperors with enough will can use it. Deku walks up to the sword and Drag says insert your scared gear power into it so it can fuse into one. Deku does this and successfully and is now able to use it with his other sword from the Stain Killer. Blizzard says but more importantly take this box and open it, something special, please open it. Deku opens the box when suddenly a red flash hits him. It clears and Deku says what happens, I don't feel different. Alicia says that right there was your potential being unleashed. You might not feel it now, but you will soon. This potential will change you in various ways depending on what path you choose. Deku says in confusion, what's that supposed to? Belzard says training time is up but bye. Deku wakes up in his bed realizing tomorrow is summer camp.